you very much. Okay. Excuse me. All righty. Watch. Filming. That's pretty cool, huh? Okay. Hello. Free copy for the best tweet with Hey Whipple in it. A little while ago, I had Hey Whipple and outbound marketing, inbound marketing, and then I decided, no, iterations, that's the thing from our first speaker, so I took it out because Hey Whipple is easy to type. So anyway, I will direct tweet you, and I'll get your address, and I'll send you a copy of Hey Whipple, which it doesn't suck. If you look on the Amazon, it says it doesn't suck. Okay, let's start. You guys, the reason why I had to drink all this Red Bull, as you can see, it's made me powerful, is these are two speeches I'm just going to mash together because each one belongs to the other. In school, I can give the first speech to my kids on Monday, and I can get them again on Wednesday. Can't do that here with you, and I wanted you to see both of them, so I mashed these mothers together. I'm going to bang through it, but that'll keep the energy up anyway. Because I hope you like it, you guys. This is not in my book. This is kind of new thinking, and I'm proud of it, and I know you can use it. I know you can use it whether you're writing a screenplay, or you're writing a letter home for money, or you're writing an ad, you're writing a website. This works. Leveraging conflict to improve creative, okay? Or my answer to the timeless question, why do your creative types always have to be so negative? You guys get that from your clients occasionally? Today? Several times? Why do you have to be so negative? Well, we're going to talk about it. There's a reason why. Now, if you guys are my students, I would tell you to get out your pencils. You don't have to take notes all the way through, but this would be one of the ones I'd write down. That's what I tell my kids anyway. This is at the heart of the first part of this speech. When you sit down to begin thinking, to begin positioning, to begin a pitch, sit down and identify the central conflicts within either your client's product or the client's company or the category. We'll talk about what are conflicts. I'm going to use the words conflicts back and forth with a whole bunch of different other words. Tensions, opposites, polarities, yin, yang. Opposing forces of any kind can help you get a creative idea going. Well, so much. And the conflict, you guys, that you can use to get this story going, it can come from, well, almost anywhere. Almost anywhere. Things that don't belong together have a conflict or a tension. Cultural tensions, opposing ideologies, winning, losing, hot, cold, expensive, cheap, opposite colors. I don't care where you find your polarities. What you're doing with finding these polarities is we're going to start a fire, and you can't start a fire with a stick. You've got to have two of them to rub together to get conflict, to get heat, to get story. Okay? It's so weird, opposite colors, but there is conflict. There's tension between these two colors. In an ad, if they were there, here's the weird thing, guys, about conflict and tension and opposing energies, is that part where they meet. That part where they meet is where the energy is. And you guys, this is so weird. I'm not sure why, but a lot of interesting stuff seems to happen along the edges of things. I don't know why. I know Fast Company would say a lot of innovation happens on the edge of technology, but that's where the battle is. The battle isn't on the gray or the blue. It's right in the middle. That's where that stuff happens, where the opposing energies happen. West Berlin, East Berlin, Republican, Democrat, holes in the side of a prison. That's you escape through the wall. Ships sink on that place in between the sea and the sky. I know it's metaphorical, but I think you'll see it throughout what I'm talking about here. Stuff happens at the edges, and there's energy there, and where there's energy, there's story, okay? Energy. I really do. I liken it to two tectonic plates pushing against each other and energy. And when you can build your strategy or your campaign on top of one of these, there they are, one of these energy producers, your campaign can walk around and talk for a long time because it takes the energy from these opposing forces. Tension could be, we'll start with a simple one. If you got a job at the agency, I got to do our brand versus their brand, well, obviously the tension is built right in. The conflict's built right in. And you kind of know where to start. In fact, to give you a feeling for how conflict can actually help get your pencil moving, Pretend this, guys. What if, instead of it was Coke versus Pepsi, what if we were an agency and I'm the creative director and I just assigned you guys, we're not doing, no, we're going to do, I just want you to do an ad for Coke. I want you to do an ad for Coke, and it has to be done at 5 today. So see me in my office. If it was me out there, I'd go, it's possible, and I can do it, but when you tell me to do this, I feel some friction under my creative tires. I kind of feel like I kind of feel like I know where to go. I don't know the solution, but I know that this is the direction I have to go to, and I can kind of just start. I don't know why that's true versus just do an ad for Coke. I don't know, it's just different. Tensions can be cultural tensions. A cultural tension is, well, we have so many of them, guys. I've picked today to show obesity. America's relationship with food is pretty screwed up. We love to have our Big Macs and our 44 cheese pizzas, but we also like size 1/2 dresses and skinny models. That neither is right. There's just a big difference of opinion and opposing energies around this cultural tension. Another one, very, very obvious, is we all want to be safe from terrorists, right? And on the other hand, I don't want to have the NSA reading my emails. There's opinion back and forth. There's energy here. This is not just sort of lying there. There's energy. There's energy. Thematic tensions. This could be just a junk out of your high school English. Man versus society. That's a tension. Religion and science. That's a tension. We can make stories when we have these opposing camps. Category specific. Okay, category specific. In fact, I had to pick one. Was financial advertising. Financial advertising. That's the category. So let's just say we were an agency again. And we screwed up in the Coke thing. I understand. But we're going to pitch Citibank. And it's due next week, and we got to go. Now, if I had to sit down and start working in a financial sector right now, one of the things, in order to find attention, one of the things I tell students to do is, what's the emotion of the category? Follow the emotion. It'll usually take you to the tension. What's the emotion? What's the emotion you have, guys right here in the front? What's the emotion you guys are feeling about the financial category? Anybody? Anybody? Crickets? What? Give me a motion about the financial. Don't make me come down there. What? What? Disgust. All right. Okay, fine. It's interesting, you guys. Number one, you should have my Red Bull. Normally, I get the whole place that goes, anger. That's what people answer every speech I've given this at. They're angry at Wall Street. They're angry at fat cat bankers for crashing the world economy while tipping their golf caddies with our overdraft fees. We're pissed off. That's where I would start. Number one, it would be truthful. Number two, it would tap into the emotion, and it would give me a conflict, somewhere to begin, which is behind the 8 ball in this case. This is an ad that I just pulled out of Time magazine. It's not a great ad, but it came right after maybe 2010, close to the crash. And it's not a great ad, but you know what I like about the ad is that it's honest. I like that. It's honest. I think it's a pretty fair thing to do if you were a bank and after this, is to say, a whole category screwed up, yeah. Can we earn your trust again? Give us a chance. Okay, I think that's pretty cool. It's got tension in it, it's got emotion in it, it's got honesty in it, and it's kind of cool. Tension can be images that don't belong together. Here's where it gets fun, and we see a lot of this stuff. I just love it. This was a terrible movie, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Terrible movie, beautiful imagery. They don't belong together. That's the tension. That's the blue and the red. That's the Republican and the Democrat. That's that line in the middle. What? And then I was at Barnes & Noble, last year, and I saw this book, Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. You have to love that. These things don't belong together, and right there along the edge, like where the battle is met, stuff's happening. Interesting stuff happens there. This last one, I just went to see the new Jurassic World thing, and as I was watching it, I remembered from the very first movie another image of two things that didn't belong together, and it was this scene when they were in the computer room, and those GATC, what are they called, base chemicals that form the rungs of DNA, we're overlapping this monstrous being creeping after those kids. I just thought that was beautiful. And I just think that's beautiful. Any tension will do. Any tension will do. Why tension? All drama is conflict. All drama. Every comic book you've ever read, every short story, every sitcom, every movie you have ever seen has drama at its core. It's not just has drama at a certain point, there's dramatic points. No. At the center of any story, movie, sitcom, anything has conflict at its core. At its core. If you don't start with conflict, you start with this. And this is the part I was telling you about strategy. This is how we can maybe start strategically with conflict in mind. If you do not start with conflict in mind, you get this. I'll prove it to you. I remember being in we won a big account for some major health food store, and that was the brief that was slid across the table to us, and we were so excited that day. Yeah, this is gonna be great. And we all grabbed our paper and ran off to the conference rooms to begin writing. And then we sat down and started writing. Actually, we didn't start writing because we sat down and started sucking for air because what looked like a fairly, well, yeah, I guess we could do something with that, is actually quite bad. It's a great mission statement, put it over the fountain in the company lobby. Ooh, fresh food, better health. Okay, I get it. But as a way to begin a story, in fact, the problem with this, I'm pointing down to my own TV here. The problem with this is that it's not a problem. That is a solution. Fresh food means better health. Oh, it's true. It's true. Nobody's going to argue with it. Yeah, it's true. But the problem is creativity happens in response to a problem, not to a solution. Solutions aren't interesting. I'm not going to sit down on the train and pick up somebody's filled-in crossword puzzle. It's over. The interesting thing is gone. Creativity happens in response to a problem, not a solution. Okay, here's another solution, posing as a strategy. I just reverse engineered this from a really awful ad I just pulled out of, I forget, maybe People or something. Horrifying. I just hate this ad, but it's a personal thing, I guess. But what I saw was this. We believe board games mean better family time. It's kind of a Milton Bradley account, maybe. And okay, guys, we're going to do ads. And so what you get for a happy little solution like this is crap like that. That is happy family time around a board game. I hate it for so many reasons, like the family is in green. Why did they put the family in green? To jump out? Because there's so many other things going on, just like we just saw in our attention ratio. There's so much going on here. I hate the fake people that just like clip art, but they're not. They're what they call in Los Angeles AMWs, actress, model, whatever. What you could have done with this ad is tip this game up like this and involve me in the game itself. Maybe show me a problem like how could you win this game with 2 moves? I don't know. Something besides this. This is a solution. This is boring. This is why cops say, move along, nothing to see here. Because the solution, it's been cleaned up. It's okay, just move along. Fresh food means better health. Fresh food, let's keep it moving, people. Oh, I hate that. I'm almost done. Thank you. Even her eye line, like, she's not looking at the stinking game. All righty, let's just keep going. If there isn't a problem, you need to create one. If there isn't a problem with your product or your category or your brand, you need to create one. We're going to create one later on, right at the end of this thing, for bananas, which is a commodity product, same as every other banana in the world. Create conflict. We're going to create conflict. And it kind of sounds weird, and telling this to clients. Some of the unenlightened ones may take a little bit of coaching. But this is how we get to interest about your products, because your product is not particularly interesting to anybody but you. Create conflict. People are interested in conflict. This is what you have to explain to your client, is that people are interested in conflict. They're not interested in your in your battery pack. Your battery pack's probably a really good one. Maybe it's the best one you can buy, but it's not inherently interesting. People are interested in conflict. It's wired into our brains. I just read another cool article where it is wired into our brains looking for changes in the status quo. That's why we look at conflict, because it's part of our survival technique. People are interested in conflict. It's just human nature. It's also actually animal nature, that study I was just talking about, but I didn't put in here. The point of it is this. When everything is okay, we are not interested. When fresh food makes our health better, see ya, bye-bye, page me at the pool when interesting stuff starts. Board games mean better, family, whatever, shut up. Show me something interesting. Show me something blowing up. Show me something unstable. Show me something intriguing. Show me something unfinished. But when everything's okay, which is where most clients want to start, this is an excellent cake. You should buy this cake because it's yummy. They have cut to the end of the story. They've cut to the end of the story, and I do not read filled-in puzzles. It's not interesting anymore. I made this little thing. I'm quite proud of it. There it is. It's not interesting. It's a car. It's got its lights on. It's in the street. Why is it interesting now? Why has it suddenly become interesting? Because it's unstable. Because there's a suggestion there. Because there's maybe a good guy and a bad guy there. Maybe there's a story. There's a backstory there. There's something going wrong. There's something going on. There's trouble in River City, people. That's interesting. That's what I'm thinking she was drinking. Good example of platform based on conflict. This is one of my favorite campaigns in the last 10 years. I do think you'll probably all agree. This is a great campaign based on conflict. And it's from a category that was, for years and years and years, very boring. Because they would not show the problem. They would show the solution, which was, here's the house that didn't burn down. Yay. There's a family standing in front of it. Yay. Cut to the logo. They took this guy to represent, he's going to represent all the bad stuff that Allstate protects you from. And now we can watch something blow up and stuff go bad, and we're going to still get that protection message, but we're getting it in a way that is interesting. Okay? It's so interesting that we have that bad guy there. But the bad guy is a big part of this first part of the speech, the conflict part, because the bad guy is the interesting part of the story. Darth Vader is the interesting part of Star Wars, not Mark Hamill, I assure you. Heath Ledger's Joker ripped the screen down on the second Batman movie. The bad guys are always more interesting. I don't know why. And you know what? I think it's why the Superman franchise is having trouble taking off, because the Superman guy has no character flaws like Spider-Man does or Batman does. It's just a theory. Anyway, I'm a geek. The bad guy is always more interesting. I'm not saying, nor should you say to your clients, you're going to be the bad guy. What I'm saying is that you should have opposing forces in whatever message you're sending. It will help you get a platform going. But the bad guys are more interesting proof. I mean, everybody went out in Halloween dressed as Darth Vader. Everybody went out dressed as Michael Myers. How many people here, just a show of hands, went dressed as Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween? How many? Just a rough show of hands. 0. Okay. Well, why? Because the bad guy is more interesting. Because when stuff's blowing up, it's more interesting than when the house is not on fire. I gave this speech at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, and one of the professors came running up to me right after and handed me his thesis. He had just proved this with a big-ass quant study, that bad is stronger than good. And in it, he said, these findings suggest that bad is stronger than good as a general principle across a broad range of psychological phenomena. Hardly any exceptions indicating greater power of good can be found. We all know this kind of intuitively, but I just love it that this guy handed me the quant's proof. Conflict adds story. The bad guy adds story. The show on the stage does not begin until the bad guy comes in, probably at the end of Act 1. That's when the story kicks in. Whoa, I gotta stay. Conflict adds story. So, going back to when we sit down and identify and leverage the central conflicts within your client's product or category, If there's no tension apparent in your category, you make it up. Just like I said, you make up tension. We're going to make it up. No, find a villain, okay? Find a villain. Sometimes it's very easy to. Toothpaste, okay, the villain is cavities. I get it. But, let's say you're working on, high interest indexed securities tied to the NASDAQ or something. It's hard to find sometimes a villain. Well, you know what? You can make him up. You can make him up out of thin air. I want to show you, this is my fake pitch to Chiquita. I did it one day, a slow day at work. And it's a silly. I'm not suggesting the campaign I'm about to show you is for reals, but it will make my point, okay? Now, a banana is a commodity product, okay? It just sits there. In fact, if you wanted to sell it the boring way they sell everything else, fresh food means better health. How do you sell milk? What's the boring way to sell milk? What? Somebody. Milk. There we go. Somebody said strong bones, which is it's true. It's fresh food means better health, and it's boring. I mean, how many times have you gone, Mom, get in here, bring some milk, my bone. It doesn't happen. How do they do if we're going to do bananas? I guess is the client would be in here saying, what would you say about bananas? Brain? Potassium is the one I was going to go with. I had this bunch of stuff in there about potassium, but here's the thing, guys. I'm going to make something up. Did you know that tarantulas live inside of banana bunches? Did you know that? They do. And so my point was going to be that we're going to sell the world's first tarantula-free banana. Now, I made that up, and it's really stupid, and I'm not serious about it, but I looked around to try to find some conflicts with potassium, and I came back empty-handed. There's nothing really interesting to say about potassium. Actually, I think there's possible. That's a different story. So in my campaign, the deal is that, Chiquita, we shake our bananas, Who wouldn't? Those guys over at Dole, no, you don't want Dole. You do not, no. Come on. They don't shake the bunches. Well, I know. So to bring that back, we had a happy little character who's hairy tarantula. See, because we're putting tarantulas out of work. Or on the Dole, which I just thought was brilliant. Brilliant. On the Dole, but I kid. So to review, start by looking for unleveraged conflicts and tensions in and around your product category. As an example, now let's redo my pitch to Chiquita. Let's just redo it. Let's find some other conflicts and tensions. We can make them up. Some I'm about to show you are real. Here's how I do it. I sit down, piece of paper, line down the middle, positive, negative, and I start to write. Let's create conflict. Okay, we could do a thing, good food versus junk food, or health versus obesity, or it comes in its own wrapper, it's canned foods, or it's ready to eat versus crap you gotta cook, or it's potassium, we can have fun with potassium, like what the hell is potassium about? Eat one-handed, pain in the ass fruits like mangoes, which you almost kill yourself trying to have. Yellow versus boring colors. I'm pulling this out of the air, guys, but I guarantee you that you and me could sit down and make a whole bunch of more interesting stories than potassium with these made-up things. Because stories are interesting, because conflict is interesting. System extension cannot be used. All righty, whatever that means. Whoops. Yeah, I got a conflict. It says, thank you. There's your story right there, I'm telling you, right there. Do you guys, is this on my computer? Probably. Why am I looking over at you guys? This is my problem. Weird. I'm just going to move him over here. I probably have to agree with him. Okay already. Okay. All righty. What's the deal? So now, we're turning the page to using conflict to build long-lasting story platforms. These are two speeches, kind of. Better storytelling through platform buildings. First off, platforms are not campaigns. We all know about campaigns. I like campaigns. You like campaigns. Clients know what campaigns are. Campaigns, this is my little definition, are a series of ads usually held together by a tagline, messaging, visuals, architecture, art direction. It's got some similarities. Oh, that's that great campaign for... Campaigns can be great, all righty? Campaigns can be excellent. This next campaign is a Gold One Show winning campaign for VW out of a London shop, and it's just beautiful. 2 moving parts, it's just beautiful. It's for park assist technology, parallel parking by computer for the new VW. And that it solves this problem. I love how it makes the reader lean in and go, Oh, put 2 and 2 together. Oh, I can park between those two things because I don't want to make a mistake either way. They had a couple of others. The guy fixing his Thunderbird and the glass truck over here. This last one, the dead guy and the poopy guy. It's just, that's wonderful. That's just beautiful advertising. A platform, on the other hand, is a world. A world, and here's the word we're going to get used to next after conflict, is rules. Rules. A world with its own rules. Okay, platform is an idea that creates ideas. You will believe me by the time we're done. A platform is an idea when you set it on the table, and if you left for a half an hour and came back, there would be more ideas there because it's so powerful. Think of a platform as a sci-fi movie, okay, guys? A sci-fi movie. Now, sci-fi movies are often about new and different worlds, right? You know, gravity is lighter there. They have big, well, in this case, these worlds have their own rules. Here's the weird thing, guys, the great thing. These rules can then be used to keep telling new stories. Let me show you an example. Well, it's called, excuse me, I can't get to the example yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. This term, world building, was popularized at the science fiction writers' workshops in the 70s. And it meant the process of constructing an imaginary world, sometimes associated with a whole fictional universe, constructed world. Developing an imaginary setting with coherent qualities, that's rules to me, such as a history, geography, ecology, key task for many science fiction writers. The rules of the world. Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. The firemen actually put up start fires. It's just that all the rules in that world were different. The rules of the Matrix. You know, the Matrix is, first movie was pretty dang good. Second two kind of sucked. And the reason why is because they spent more on the tech than on the story. I think everybody would agree with that. The first one kind of rocked. And the first run had its rules, which they used to make the other two stories, nevertheless, because they worked. Red pills, blue pills, phone booths, downloadable knowledge, the oracles, the agents, all that cool stuff. Those are rules. Those are rules that they can now go back to. Oh, what if we had the agent da-da-da? What if this happened with that? What if we mix these two together and that? A world with its own rules. So let's start with some examples. I'm going to just show you one professional example, because all the rest of the examples I'm going to show you today are from sophomore and junior students who take this, and within 2 to 3 weeks, some never quite get it, but I'm watching, you'll see. I think I'll prove to you. Here's a platform for Coke Zero created by Crispin, okay? When Coke Zero came out, objective is to make say Coke Zero tastes just like Coca-Cola. I agree, that's the correct thing to do. So the conflict, one of the obvious conflicts is it's Coca-Cola fighting against Coke Zero. So where do they go from there? Well, where they went to, their platform was Coca-Cola sues itself for taste infringement. The guys in the 7th floor of the building in Atlanta sued the guys on the 4th floor. It's silly. And I'm going to show you just the opening sort of TV online video they did with it to show you how this platform, this world can start. What they did in typical Crispin fashion is they actually did an ad to bring in lawyers into some building, you know, outside, I don't know where, and the lawyers would sit down, these people, these knuckleheads would pitch this suit to the real lawyers to see if they had a case. It was just delightful. Watch for the sound level, guys. I don't know if it's going to pop or not.
You're pretty aware that Coke Zero tastes a lot like Coca-Cola.
Yes, in fact, my son adores it, and I buy it every week.
Perfect, because we feel that there might be some taste infringement issues.
Between these two?
Yes.
Oh, so you're worried about...
I think it's basic taste infringement. I'd like to stick with that phrase, because that
Right,
sounds
but I don't-
really good
it's
to me.
not
I don't know what a good analogy would be, but are you familiar in the music industry of sampling? It's like we've laid down a really good baseline,
Right.
you know, and Coke Zero's come along and just added something on there.
What's...
Just basically a patent copyright, a little too closely.
What would be equivalent to a corporate kick in the balls?
You don't have a valid claim. You can bring a suit, there's no claim.
I picked up on something you said. You said age. This product is 100 and some odd years old.
It's
We're talking about a
it's
young
not-
product. You don't think it's age discrimination against an older product? We can't.
It's
Why
not
can't
a
we?
person. Title VII doesn't cover these things.
Ron, on more than one occasion, has pointed out that Matt is bald. Is that age discrimination? Is that
No.
discrimination in any way against
No.
the hairless?
No. Hairless are not protected.
could we sue them just to get it into court to just humiliate these people?
You'll be humiliated and you'll
We'll
get
be
fired.
humiliated and
you'll
fired.
get fired.
I don't want that.
It's just brilliant, typical Crispin stuff. This is a platform. A platform, again, is an idea that creates ideas, all right? And it runs on rules. And so, in this case, guys, this is one of their sub-campaigns that came out. Are you a victim of taste confusion? Sort of an ambulance chaser lawyer trying to get a class action suit going. Taste confusion, it's brill. They had some other outdoor, blatant Coca-Cola impersonation. I love this last one. Tastes so much like Coke that our lawyers have contacted our lawyers. Which just makes me green with envy when I see work that good. But what are the rules then? What are the rules that this platform is running on? The rules of court and lawyers and law. And all this stuff, guys, we know. We know because we grew up watching TV, and we know every one of these rules. They go like this. You've seen them. The I object and the evidence and Exhibit 4, approach the bench, please. The appeal not guilty, second-degree witness. Those are all rules that I could do another ad on, another campaign on, I could spin off of. And these are just some of the ones that came to mind while I was putting this together. It's a world with rules, and the more rules, the better. The longer and richer, more robust the stories can be. Okay, watch, this is a student platform. This is a sophomore platform for PetSmart, which, by the way, is very not a client because they just hired my old agency, GSD&M, and then GSD&M hired up to service them, and then they took it in-house. So people are being laid off at my old agency. Watch, this is so cool. Objective, communicate PetSmart has everything cats and dogs need. Cats and dogs obviously is the biggest thing, and they sell their dog food, cat food. The conflict, cats and dogs kind of jumped out at her. Cats and dogs are mortal enemies, right? Okay, so that's the conflict. PetSmart. The only thing dogs and cats agree on is her platform. And the rules of the platform, like, my word, Gary Larson's been doing dogs and cat jokes for years and years and years and years. We've been doing dogs and cat jokes. Every Walt Disney cartoon we've seen since we were 1 have the rules built in. So it's in our heads. And when the kids nailed this platform in class, everybody started going, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. One of the best ones was, well, see, here's the rules. The cats like milk, dogs are social, cats aloof, dogs chase their tails. All of this now is fodder for the story engine about PetSmart, the only thing dogs and cats agree on. And at the kids in the set, you could also, do you know how many videos there are online of dogs and cats? You could turn those into a contest. You could do all kinds of things. It was just brilliant. A platform is an idea that creates ideas. That's the cool part, guys. That's the cool part. One sign you have a platform, there's 2 of them. Will your idea fit on a Post-it note? If it doesn't, it's probably not finished. You might have kind of a beginning of an idea, but if it doesn't just fit on a little Post-it note, if you can't just lean into your boss's room and say, what's your idea? Oh, we're going to have Coke sue itself, and you leave, it's not there yet. If you find yourself standing in front of the client, in front of the creative director going, what's your idea? Well, okay, I told you the first part, right? Okay, but you also have to know that in the news right now, and this thing going over here, so the thing, by the time it gets up, as soon as you're doing that, when you can hold up a Post-it note, you've got a big, badass idea. And it's just so weird. If it doesn't fit in a small space, it's not a big idea. It's so weird. The other sign you have a platform is it starts talking to you and it won't shut up because of the possibilities that jump out of it. Dogs and cats, mortal enemies, you're kidding. We could do all kinds of things. Ideas and stories erupt from it. And you get back to that energy I was telling you about in the beginning, this thing, what if we did it as a podcast? What if we did it as a comic book? What if we did it? What if we? As soon as a student or anybody in a concepting session gets to a platform, I love watching the whole room loosens up, lightens up, and they start lobbing ideas at the platform owner. Oh yeah, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. It's a release of energy. It's a discovery of a world. It's like looking into Tutankhamun's tome. Oh my God, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Those cool VW ads that we saw a while back, okay, now they were a big idea. I kind of like to call platforms long ideas because they can go around more twists and turns than a big idea. Big ideas can sometimes be fairly unforgiving. In this case, though, were those ads a long idea. How long could we do that Volkswagen campaign? Well, I think we could all probably come up with a few pretty good ones after this, but how long could we? The problem with that is because there's only one rule in this world to play with. One world, one rule. What goes in the left, what goes in the right. There's not a lot of robustness to it. Doesn't mean it's bad. That's a gold one-show winning campaign. It's better print than I've ever done in my life. But I'm making a point here. Some of my students' platforms. Bed Bath & Beyond. I never shopped there. But apparently it's a huge coupon thing. They give out coupons all the time. 20% off, 20% off. They don't expire, according to my student. So that's our conflict. Our coupons never expire. Theirs do. So there's a conflict. Where he got to was immortal coupons, which are good through the apocalypse. Which is great. If your head's being chewed off by a zombie, if you're holding on to that coupon, you're getting 20% off towels, my friend. It's so beautiful. I love that. Cricket. Student communicate. Cricket phones are great for students because they don't have any contracts to sign. So their metaphor was just simple, elegant, and beautiful. It's AT&T wants to get married. I don't want to get married. Can we just date? So now you can see all the rules that come from this. The dating, the first date, the second date, the prenuptials, the divorce court. They're all waiting to be used to tell stories over stories over stories, all based on this product benefit. We're not just telling stories to have fun, at least not in advertising. This is my favorite one, I think. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, my word, from a junior. The rules being, I guess we could start with the Tadler magazines you buy at the grocery checkout. You know, peanut butter left a dear jelly note. I don't know. It's delightful. It's just delightful. Fire good. The whole campaign is that. It's like Tim Allen. Meat. Character can be platform, and that was a platform. Fire good. Again, look for two signs. Two signs you have a platform. One is it fits in it. And the other is that it won't shut up. It really won't. Sometimes when you get to a platform and you've been working on it really hard, it really is a matter of can you sit down and write fast enough to keep up with the ideas as they come out. You just got dictation from your subconscious. Oh yeah, we can do this, we can do this. Here's the process I use to feel my way to a platform. Start by asking yourself this question. What is the truest thing? My students hear this all year long. What is the truest thing? What's the truest thing you can say about this product, this category, this thing? The truest thing. And we all have different truths. But generally, when you hit on something that's just resonant, we all go, oh, yeah. It's like when a comedian, stand-up comedian, says some little thing, and everybody goes, oh, yeah, you say that. We all agree when you get to a truth. What's the truest thing you can say? And generally, the truest thing is not on a brief, because it's probably not the part the client wants to talk about. The truest thing, let me show you some truest things. This is Crystal Burgers. I'm not sure it's food, but I want 24. That's the truth. That's the truth about Crystal. It talks to the craving that I have for those things. It says I should come in today and buy some, but it doesn't say it the way the client would like it. That is the truest thing I could say. Now, some of these I pulled from class. One kid was working on eHarmony, and hers was, I will die if anybody finds out we met online. Now, the client would be here saying we probably have more marriages than the other 3 services put together, which is another fine truth to say. And not to say that you can't do something with that, but I prefer starting with the truest thing you can say. Truest thing you can say, this last one, Canadian Club. It's old school rot gut my dad drinks watching football down in the basement. Which actually, you guys, is what the focus group said when Canadian Club took its show on the road, because all of its old customers were dying and they have to renew the brand. So they took it out to a bunch of 24-year-old people and they said, what can we do to make this young again? And they said, you can't make it young. It's Canadian Club. My dad drinks down in the basement watching the NFL. So what they did is they embraced the truth and they did this fantastic campaign. Damn right your dad drank it. God. This campaign is so beautiful. It's based on a truth. And the truth is, and it's got a conflict in it too, guys. The conflict is that my dad is cool. they've somehow made your dad, we all go nerd, he was actually cool. And, even though he had a paneled basement, he maybe got laid down there. Your dad was a rock star. He never tweezed anything. Damn right your dad drank it. That is brilliant strategy, brilliant writing to bring this brand back from the brink. Instead of saying, oh, it's the young drink. Yeah. What's the truest thing you can say? I then take that truest thing and I try to uncover some conflicts around that truth. That's the conflicts I was just talking about. I guess I got ahead of myself. I want to take 1 minute break. We do have the time. I just checked. 1 minute. In fact, I have the 1 minute thing. I want you, just so we can all leave here with one concrete thing in your pocket, I want you to think about one of your brands, or if you are a client here, I want you to think about your brand and what you think about it honestly. And I want you to write down what is the truest thing, and it can be a number of different truest things, but it has to answer this question, answer honestly, what's the truest thing I can say about this brand? Yeah. No. Shut up. Sorry. What is the truest thing? Doing okay? Learning? Good. Okay. What is the truest thing I can say about this product or category? I then take that truest thing and I try to uncover conflicts around that truth. Establish what the truest thing is. Okay, it's not really food, but I want 24. And you take that thing and you say, if this is true, then what is the world like because of that statement? And you start digging around, what does this world look like, and what are some of the rules? You're looking for conflicts to start a story engine. I'll show you an example. Now, truth plus conflict. This looks like it is a formula, but I'm not saying we've codified creativity by any stretch of the imagination. I just came up with this as a way to save you when you're sucking for air. I'll take anything when the deadline's coming. And I've seen this work with my kids as well. Truth plus conflict. And that conflict can come from anywhere, as we saw earlier. Truth plus conflict. Truth plus conflict. So where's all this truth and conflict going to come from? From your brand, the product, the category, all that. That's where it's going to come from. The student platform for Crocs. Here's a good example of what's the truest thing you can say about a brand. What's the truest thing we can say about Crocs? Dorky, ugly. If the client were here, they'd say comfortable, which I've actually put some on, and they are. But they're not. The truest thing about Crocs is they're ugly. That's where she started. It's a great place to start because it's off balance. It's wrong. The story's unfinished. What's going on here? This better solve out. What's this? The first act, the curtain goes up. They're ugly? You're kidding me. Truth plus conflict. So, the ugly plus the conflict. Now, if I were wearing clogs and I was going to go to meet the ladies at the after party, ladies, what do you think would happen? Ladies, nothing would happen. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's kind of where I got to. Where's conflict? Where won't get laid, and then won't get laid. I went ahead of myself, and look at that beautiful campaign idea. The world's most comfortable birth control. This is from a junior, from a student, and it's perfect. It's perfect. I don't go to execution in my class. We all go to pencils. And so one of her ideas, I just love this idea. It's an event. It's Crocs should set up a little table at the big medical conventions where they're selling the pills and Conceptrol and the Ovid, whatever, and at their little Crocs table. Here's our birth control. It's 98% effective, apparently. So, truth plus conflict. Other student platforms. Samsung smart washers. This is a connected object, a wireless, really smart washer. The truth they got to is, truths don't always have to be big. It's a little one. About laundry. I've heard Jerry Seinfeld do this bit. Oh, what happened to that sock? Where's that sock? It's a big mystery. I actually took that picture. Somebody's. And so that's what the idea was, is they know everything. I mean, these things are connected. They can connect to the wireless, and they can actually wash your clothes at the cheapest time of day for power. They can't tell you that. And she has a bunch of ideas where you got free socks. Oh, it's just marvelous. Marvelous. Tide Pods. Tough one, But it's not about cleanliness. In this case, it's about speed and portability. And they do this horrible campaign about popping. Ugh, what if they did my students' campaign? The truth is that it's fast. But where's the emotion? He put them both together. The fastest way to do laundry and get out of scary basements. All the cartoons we've seen, all the basements are scary. Yeah, you can go. You had games online where you could, from the stairs, go start the laundry. Beautiful. We're down to, getting around to the end here, folks. 24-hour fitness. This actually has a product difference. So the truest thing is it's always open, right? I mean, I would start there. Well, what happens then? Now that's the truest thing. What happens as a result of that? Anybody? You guys? If your gym is always open, what does it mean? Yeah. Well, it means, dude, it's excuse proof. You're going. So that's their platform. The platform was a character of apology. We're sorry we're open. We're sorry we're nearby. We're sorry we have so many locations. We're sorry about our new machines. We're sorry about our classes. We're sorry. It's just brilliant. And I had another student, same but only different. Her line, I just love her line. Could actually work with this platform, but her line was, I hate my favorite gym. I love that. That's got conflict in it. It's got emotion in it. It's got truth in it. Platforms we use for the whole brand or just a campaign. I'm coming around to another, I think we have about 10 minutes left. Southwest Airlines did this at GSG&M, my last agency I worked at. After 9/11, everybody started charging for bags because they lost so much revenue. Southwest, cool client, knew what they stood for, low fares, decided not to charge for bags. So, how do you advertise that? Well, what's the truest thing you could say? One of the truest things that you can say, said the creative team, when you walk up to the counter to buy your ticket and they tell you, that's going to cost you $25, the emotion, my emotion is, what? I just paid $1,000 to get to LA, now you're going to charge me $50 for 2 bags? Are you kidding me? So the team said, it's a crime. It does. It feels like, it's opportunistic. You're ripping me off, dude. As soon as they got to the crime, the whole world of cop shows started kind of coming into the neighborhood. What could we do with that? What could we do with that? And all the rules of those cop shows. And they got to a platform they called, and I bet you can finish this sentence now, Good Cop, Bad Cop. And they turned it into a movie. In fact, they started with movie posters up and down the runway things, where you get, and they have these cheesy lines. It's hard to read there, but it's a bad day to be a cop. It's a bad day to be a bag fee. And they did a couple more, and then they did about 15 commercials. All at Southwest Airlines, they are also true to their low expense. They only use workers, or employees as actors. So sometimes they kind of suck. But this one we thought was pretty good. And this, you guys, the rules of this one are the Starsky and Hutch world. Whoops. Oh, I did that. I'm such a loser. I'm going to go back. Alrighty.
It's happening. Let's go. We got a 120 in progress. What's a 120? Another airline's charging up to $120 round trip for 2 bags. Pull over! Looks like we got a runner. Pull over! We know you've been charging for bags!
You can't stop every plane!
We're gonna stop this one! You can fly, but you can't hide!
If we were working at that agency right now and we had to go work on it, we could probably start. We could contribute to that because the rules are apparent to us. We know them by heart. Platform building allows storytelling, but a platform isn't a story. It's the mother of stories. It's the mother of stories, okay? A story has a beginning, middle, and end. I'm reminded of a comedian who does this joke. He says he likes to get stoned and watch movies backwards, in which case this movie is about this giant shark that throws up people until they open the beach. Oh, I can't believe it. They end. Movies end. Story makes a movie. Story does make a movie, but it ends. Does story make a franchise? No. Platform makes franchises. Worlds, robust worlds full of rules that can be mixed and remixed as you need them. Batman, the rules for Batman, signature villain, secret identity, Gotham, Alfred, Batcave. They're all there, 007, dun, 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 the cool opening and assignment, exotic locales, cool car, MQ, chicks dig 'em. They're all all just waiting to be picked up. We're down to the last 3 or 4 frames. Advice from the writers of Sopranos and Breaking Bad. It's from a really good book called Difficult Men, which is the writer's way of saying that these people who ran these shows were kind of assholes. From the writers of Sopranos, here's what they said. A good pilot episode must engage in what's known in network jargon as in universe building. That's what you do when you're trying to sit down to create a brand. We're going to sit down, we're going to build this brand's universe. Probably don't have to scrub and start all over. You're just going to rebuild it. Make it interesting. Start a story. Start something on fire. You have to lay in enough DNA, enough legs, so you can say, wow, I can see where that character may go over the next 5 years. Damn. When I read that, I went, it's perfect for the speech. And you guys, character is platform. Character is platform. Joey. We know what Joey would do if he got lucky in a date. We know what Joey would do if he couldn't figure out a math problem. Character is platform. Because the rules are in there. When platforms work, they really work. That was called the campaign of the 90s by one show. I happen to agree. Beautiful. Just head-to-head. Corporate ideology versus corporate ideology. Which one do you like? Back to the 60s. What's the truest thing you can say about the brand? Oh, Avis, we're the best. No, they're not the best. They're number 2. So what can you do as a result of that truth to make, we try harder. Which was true. They did. So I want you to keep in mind this is a tool, not a rule. I've had kids come up to me and say, oh, Professor Sullivan, I did this ad. The other professors like it, but it doesn't have any conflict in it. The ad does not have to have conflict in order for me to say, oh, that's really good. There's plenty of great stuff out there that's conflict-free. I'm suggesting this is a great way to get things going if you are suffering, which I spent 32 years doing in the business. Suffering. Oh, where's an idea? Where's an idea? So, and thank you. We're done. Yay! Woo-hoo!